Post didn't know anything about the pool being closed. And they said that they did meetings back in 2000 in the residence, which I'm a resident, and I know I always went to all the meetings, and I know I didn't know anything about the community voting for the pool to be closed. So this is what was said to us. So now we are trying to make sure that we're becoming proactive. It's not reactive, that we know what's going on in our community. The other thing that's bringing us together today that we found out when the Dungey caught on fire, that the word on the street was a lot of different rumors and stuff. So I felt like the Oklahoma City Police should be here to, that if y'all have any information, that can help them, because they can't solve a crime. And like I said, we're just assuming that the school caught on fire from what we done heard. And maybe, this is Officer Eric Huff from Oklahoma City branch. Maybe he could tell us more than what, we are privileged to. So this is why this meeting tonight is. And so, like I said, Councilman Skip Kelly is supposed to be on his way. And we have one from the county supposed to be here, because this legally sets in the county, and it's areas that we are concerned about in the county too. And we also have Councilman Talley here from Cities.
I just want to let you all know, some of you all know some of the incidents that have been occurring, and some of you all don't. Right before Christmas, my office was broken into at the Legislative Park, Community Action, and Parks and Recreations. They took our computers. They took 42 years of my history, and I'm kind of perturbed about that. We had just bought a new computer set up so that our community could come to the center and apply for Social Security, food stamps, and things like that, because to keep you from traveling so far out to handle your business. And they stole that complete set. They also stole the computers of Parks and Rec, so we've kind of been pushed back a little bit. The next thing that happened after that, there were 5 or 6 boys hanging out on the corner of 36 and 80 in black and white. And we watched them, and I said, that doesn't look good. They up to something. Before that, they broke into the Greatest Motorcycle Club, and they stole everything they had in there and just totally demolished their clubhouse. After that, that was right before Christmas. Then after that, they broke into our Head Start Center. And I went up there with, then they broke into Miss O's house. They broke into the church. They broke into Keith's house. They broke into numerous apartments.
They said which church?
I was just informed a church in that vicinity, so it had to be either St. James or Israel Chapel. Okay, so after that happened, Miss O's, Keith, Jensen, they then break into apartments at Dungey Apartments. I mean, they are really hurting people down there, okay? It's really, really bad. Then, the day I got the call that the Dungey High School was on fire, I got up from my desk and I went up there, and they had attempted to break into a Head Start Center again. But I think they really got in because the Head Start staff, after we called the police, went back and found a refrigerator and a microwave that was taken out of the Head Start Center building in the Dungey building when it was set on fire. Okay, so I'm seeing escalation.
Lorenzo Thompson.
Hello. My name is Lorenzo Thompson. I think I know just about everybody in here, one way or another, good, bad, and different. But actually, we're not the only ones that's happening. It's like our whole community out here in northeast Oklahoma City, like we're on the sea. And the person that's responsible for it getting that bad, which one of you just look to the left? Look to the left. Because we've been fighting this, Vivian and I, we've been trying, the problem is, we have gotten disconnected. All of it, but we're all an integral part of each other. It don't matter if you're Republicans or Democrats, white, green, orange. But what we have to do is come up with a definitive method.
You have something like a report or something that you want to make, it's going to have to be within that jurisdiction. Now, we do a good job working with Spencer and the county. If somebody's a
And that's
ways
what I
off,
was just telling about the jurisdiction.
they'll let our dispatcher know, hey, we're a ways off, can you, send an officer to assist. They do a real good job of doing that.
But if it happened on this side of the street, you gotta apply for Oklahoma City. If I go across the street and see something going on, I have to go to Spencer. If I go over here, right here at Anderson Road and 36 and something happens on this side of the street, it's Choctaw. Over on this side, it's
Oklahoma County covers all.
Yeah, but
A lot of people don't understand, even though you live in Spencer, even though you live in Oklahoma City, even though you live in Choctaw. Because yesterday I watched the county. I don't know who they was looking for, but they was on fire. I had never seen their technique used yesterday ever before, but I was very happy.
We said we're in Oklahoma City, all right? Oklahoma City wants all the rights to happen, and we get no action. You'll call somebody, and you say, listen, I got somebody kicking in my neighbor's door. We got somebody coming. The house has been empty. And they come, well, did you see anybody? Well, what did they look like? Well, what kind of car was they driving? That's unreal. This is Oklahoma City, like you said. We have officers. Am I not correct to say we have 2 officers that patrol this area out here?
Yeah, sometimes you have more than that.
Actually, I see 4, but they zoom in and they zoom out.
yeah.
Councilman Talley wants to say something.
We have what is called interagency agreements. And with interagency agreements, basically what that is that we have an agreement with every municipality within a 50-mile radius to help one another out. The problem that you're experiencing with the late responses is due to the dispatcher. Because one of the things that we've been discussing now is trying to get the dispatchers on the same page to realize to call who can ever respond, as opposed to looking at a sheet of paper and saying, well, that's Oklahoma City's jurisdiction, so let me try and get in touch with an Oklahoma City police officer when Spencer is right here. Or I'm sure you all know this little area right here is hot, and oftentimes you see Nakoma Park and Spencer giving tickets. That's due to an interagency agreement. You'll see Spencer in Nakoma Park giving tickets. You can even see Spencer in Midwest City giving tickets. If the offense occurred in our city and somebody proceeds to drive into another city, we have the right to go into those cities. But again, we also have interagency agreements. A lot of the problems that you're discussing, there's a real simple remedy to it. I've been on the city council, this is my 6th year. My first year, we had a meeting right here at Green Pastures, First Baptist right here in Hicks, talking about annexing what we call, and what you're experiencing, no man's land. Unincorporated areas. Because, and one of the arguments that I tried to make to everybody about being incorporated into Spencer is that you would have on-demand fire protection and police protection. Not only would you have that, but your homeowner's insurance and property taxes would go down because you're part of a local municipality. The argument was somebody that doesn't even live in this community came in and said, no, that's just the opposite. And it created a big old uproar. So we really didn't get to finish talking about it. I came back 2 years later, and I'm saying me, because it wasn't just me, it was the mayor. The mayor, everybody knows him, is Ernest Ware. We both came and we presented it again, and we also gave some extra tidbits of information. What the plans is for the areas that is considered unincorporated land. What you don't know is that Nakoma Park and Choctaw is chomping at the bit to incorporate you. But you don't know why they want to incorporate you. They want to incorporate you to get the land to build a wastewater treatment plant. They're buying what they consider trash land, and they put their dirty little secrets over there.
Channel 4 started the whole rumor, and then when we finally looked, by the way, I am a licensed private investigator. And I'm very good at it.
Really started down there by the school, because like you said, that man had that house, 10 horses on the lot, about big as yours, Joyce. And the school complained about the smell. That's how it started.
But what we're getting at is, the average person that owns property, you don't have deeds, you got patents. People who have patents, you have your mineral rights. You understand what I'm saying? This is from
You have no idea how valuable that is.
your mineral rights are. So that's another issue. Another issue is I went through this, me, Wayne, Opio, Marilyn Moret with Arcadia, with Edmund. And what the objective is, if like Spencer, if they can surround Spencer on all three sides, Spencer can't grow no more.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
And so next thing you know, but what we're getting at is this, is that none of us, how many of you guys know what precinct you're in? How many of you guys know when you go vote, what precinct you're in? How many of you guys know who your precinct chair is? How many of you guys realize that they done changed all of that? Yeah? Precinct 579, precinct 75. How many of you guys know who your precinct chair is 579? Me!
It sounds like what I'm hearing is you all feel like there's a lack of police presence out there, right? Yes. Well, that's one of the things that I can take back. Now, as far as all the break-ins and everything that's been going on, the realest thing that I've heard is what this man said. A lot of folks out here, you know who's breaking in people's homes, but you don't want to call the police because you don't want to get anyone in trouble. And here's the gist of it. I put on this uniform. I'm working a certain shift, certain hours. I come out here, you know, maybe an hour or two, 3 hours a day, and I go back to the city, go home. But you guys live out here. You are the eyes and ears of this community.
Is there anything that maybe we can take back to them where we can give more help in this area, from the sheriff's department, from Spencer, or whoever? You know, it's not that large of an area to cover, but what I'm saying, we're so distant from Spring Lake. We need a place where when that call comes in, it comes in somewhere here and not.
Don't want to hear it? That's the truth.
Well, can the floor be opened up to solutions rather than problems? We all know what the problems are. Let's come up with some brainstorm type of solutions, no matter how wild or far-fetched, and we can weed out those that are not feasible and keep the ones that are.
And if you guys want a precinct down here, I mean, I would suggest getting together as a group, one group, not individuals, and going to city council and saying, hey, you know, these are the problems that we're having. You know, can we get a station down here? Is it feasible? Is it possible? I mean, they built a Bricktown station, and then they talk about building another station way out west, the Santa Fe division. You know, I don't see why the city can't build one out here, but, you know, I'm not running the city. You know, that's city council, city management, you know, so on and so forth.
I've come to the meeting before. I've been in the city for since about, actually, I've been investing since 1972. And when I hear, I understand what all you feel. I know how you feel. One of the worst things can happen is to walk into your house and find everything you own gone. That's a strange feeling. I own a business right up the street and I got it secured 100%. And I'm constantly looking at videos of faces that come up and down that street. I see them throwing beer cans out, all that stuff. I got it on video. Okay? So I'm watching constantly. I can tell you everybody that come up in my driveway or go back in my building, I can tell you every time the waterman comes to my shop. I know. Okay? So I'm monitoring this stuff 100%. But what I hear you saying is that you're trying to start at the top and work your way down, because you're going against the odds, you're not going to win. What you're going to have to do is this. force these people to come to your community. How do you do this? Start your youth on your feet. Once you get involved with them, they've got to come see what you're talking about. Because the only way you're going to stop this break-in is you're going to have to get your kids off the street, get them involved in something
Things that I'd like to tell, just real brief, I won't keep your time. But I think one of the things we have to look at when we say we want police presence, first of all, our houses are not clean. We got people that don't have licenses that drive. Well, if you're an elderly person, don't have a license, and you have to drive and you get stopped, you're going to get a ticket. You can't pay for it, then you go to jail. We're not thinking about those types of things. We have a bunch of kids that what we really need to do is go get our kids. We can sit here and say millions of things about programming, but I guarantee you somebody in here knows somebody that's selling dope out there, knows somebody that's on drugs out there, knows somebody that's breaking in somebody's house out there. So the problem is that we got to go get our kids. I can't expect the cop to do what I'm supposed to do. Now, if that child can't be reached, the system's going to get him anyway.
Yeah, Margaret Payne in the house, and she is the widow and the owner of Dungee High School. So she's affected by this here just as much as we are. So, Margaret, do you want to say something to the people?
Well, I didn't prepare a speech, but I talk about it. And I don't have a presence in the community. Physical presence, I have more so a spiritual presence. Somebody knew who said Dungee on fire. You probably sitting up here right now. I'm not pointing the finger, and I'm not asking any questions. That's just a fact. Because your community is too small not to know. Okay? Somebody knew who broke in Miss Lady's house over here. Community is too small not to know.
I have the least right to speak here of anybody, but I was invited by Alan Thompson to come to this meeting. I didn't know what it was about. I'd like to make a recommendation. I heard this man make a positive recommendation. I would suggest that he and that gentleman right back there made another positive recommendation. I would suggest that those two, plus you or a representative from your place, meet down at that housing condition where you seem to locate where the problem is. All of you meet down there.
I'll just say one thing, and to me it's the problem, one of the most positive things we need to think about as parents and adults. My husband and I, we were over the parent patrol at Rogers Middle School.
What was your husband's name?
Leon Timberlake.
Oh, I heard a bunch of questions, but I'm not really hearing no answers, and I think I'm going to walk away with that. I mean, I'm hearing all the questions, but I'm not going to walk away.
One of the solutions is don't let this be a one-time deal. We have started meeting every second Thursday of the month down here at Christian Post Point, 6 o'clock. You know about all the break-ins and stuff until Mercedes started telling me after the school caught on fire. And so we could have probably had to put a stop to that because we didn't know about the stolen cars being a place there until now. So when we become proactive, we'll know all these here things. And so we want to also let Margaret know that we're going to try whatever we can to do fundraising, donations, or whatever we can to help that school get back on its feet. And that's what we want to know is that your commitment that you're going to work with whatever the community want to tell us. Tell us what you,
like I said, it's long range, Vivian. It's going to take time for raising money, building, and all of that.
Second Thursday of the month. If you're consistent with this amount, because Skip Kelly was promised to be here tonight. He said he would be here. He's not here. The county was supposed to be here tonight with representatives, but they're not here. But I thank the city that they honor their word, and their officer is here.
I march with Clara Looper, and you know, honestly, there needs to be a group mentality as far as either construct or destruct. Now, when Martin Luther King was alive, there was a system in place that was so atrocious that everybody could see, that everybody agreed that this needed to be brought down. Okay, now that is a pack mentality. We need a pack mentality as far as building something, putting something together. Everybody needs to feel as though they have something invested. You don't destroy something that you build. So if everybody puts their 2 cents in, old, young, in between, that sort of thing. And everybody's involved. Everybody feels they have an investment. They're not going to tear it down.
I'd like to ask a question. First of all, is the school Dundee considered a historical site?
And I'm doing research on that right now, because I got, it was erected in 1947. And we still have preservation, historical preservation literature that's coming to the house to this very day.
Okay, that particular building was erected in 1947.
Yes.
But the school actually was started in 1930 something.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Then the other question is, are there any plans for the other portion that you do not own? What portion do you own? Just the two major buildings?
I own all three
All
buildings.
three?
We can get that listed as a National Historic Site.
Right.
And with that being registered as a National Historical Site, it will never be torn down.
Yeah. And probably get
Eminent
some
domain
money.
can't get it. Because what, in this area, what everybody is not realizing, you are in grave danger of your properties being taken through eminent domain. Everything here, everything that you know and love is about to be gobbled up. And I'm not here to blow smoke at you. It's about to be gobbled up. So first thing we need to do, first things first, is secure what you have. You got to secure what you have. This man right here was talking about you now. We're going to talk about incorporating this unincorporated land. I know that will solve your problem. What you're talking about, having the response time with the police departments and all of that, and having substations. Your city is only as big as your area. If your tax, even though you live in Spencer, your tax dollars go to Oklahoma City. But if your tax dollars was going to Spencer, guess what? Your fire department grows, and so does your police department grow. We're talking 5 minutes away. You see what I'm saying? Another thing you all be well aware of, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the high school that we have here, Star Spencer High School, that serves this area, and you notice we went from a 5A to a 4A, and then from a 4A to a 3A, and probably next year to a 2A. It's all based on enrollment. I'm retired from the state, but I'm working again. I work with Seaworth Academy. It's an alternative school. You know who Seaworth is full of? That's where those kids, every time one of those principals write a letter or do a long-term suspension or kick them out, they're going over there.
We lose dollars myself about looking into what is the process to be annexed from from a school district, and it's a process.
All of that groundwork's already done, though. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's already done. You just say you want it to happen. When we start having these meetings, because I could have had it done 5 years ago. What we're talking about tonight is what I said 5 years ago was going to happen.
Because 3,000, if the schools out here, if we can do what he's talking about doing, you can have a 3,000 student school. And that means jobs, that means everything. That means the school board when we make a decision. Yes. But I got Connie, she's looking into it, the legal process. Do we just have to go out and do an affidavit? Just like he's talking about, we know it's a process of being annexed from Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City don't want you.
Those who think you have information about the burning of Dungee School, we have a container right here to put it in there right now. All the cars, thieves, break-ins, and everything here.
I have a suggestion. Before we push tonight, everyone write down the neighborhood in which you live in. Like I live in England Heights. You probably don't know where England Heights is, but England Heights is on 51st and Spencer Road. So if everyone would write down the neighborhood in which you live in and your name, so when we come back to the meeting, if you have suggestions from your particular neighborhood, you can address it at that time.
Don't let this be a one-time deal. We have started meeting every second Thursday of the month down here at Christian Post Point, 6 o'clock.